First up in today's roundup of cybersecurity tech news, Anonymous is back with a fresh new hack. The target, the official website for the Chinese Communist Party in the city of Pingshan, China. As is tradition, Anonymous have plastered their logo across the page. We've also got some pro-Taiwan and anti-CCP memes. Only text-based memes, surprisingly bland and boring. I mean, if you've gone to the effort of hacking a Chinese Communist Party website for the purpose of posting memes, you could at least inject some flair. Use your imagination. This is your canvas. Anyhow, joking aside, it's pretty obvious that this hack was carried out by the same people that recently pwned China's Polar Research website just a couple of weeks ago. The same memes were used in both attacks, and the political message, which we'll get to shortly, is virtually identical. Some of you guys commented on my video covering Anonymous's hack of the Chinese Polar Research website, saying that it was a bit of a low blow, as in, it may be a government-owned website, but it's apolitical, so targeting it just feels kind of wrong. Well, there will be no such comments this time around, because this website is a full-blown communist outpost, complete with enough hammer and sickles to start a revolution, and lots of the colour red. Though the site could use a bit of a refresh, we've even got some Adobe Flash lingering on the side here, which is never a good sign in 2022. Now, it doesn't look like Anonymous pwned the site in its entirety, but rather they gained privileges to post content to the site, probably in the form of acquiring account credentials. Now, this is judging from the URL of the page they've graffitied, as it looks like some kind of attachment, as opposed to an existing page on the site. That being said, the hack was enough to spook the Chinese Communist Party sysadmin into taking the whole site 100% completely offline. So what was Anonymous's message in doing all of this? Well, it's complicated, as they're pushing various messages. Firstly, they slam China for the Peng Shui saga. I won't go into detail on that here because it's a bit of a rabbit hole. She's a Chinese pro-tennis player who, after accusing a senior CCP official of sexual assault, randomly disappeared for a few weeks, and on her return she took back her accusations. So it really looks like she was coerced in some way. Then Anonymous has a bunch to say about the Ukraine crisis, threatening that if the current tension in Ukraine continues to worsen or does not diffuse, then they'll take hostage of industrial control systems, which would be quite a step up from hacking CCP websites. But I don't know, this whole page is really confused and just all over the place. There's even a section where they push an experimental antiviral drug for COVID. I'm not really sure what the goal behind this hack is, as there's no coherent message. Are these guys LARPing as Anonymous? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Next up, a familiar foe on this channel has just had their death certificate signed by Microsoft. This is even being described by some as a historic security milestone. We are of course talking about malicious Microsoft Office macros. Might sound like a boring topic, but I assure you it is anything but. These things are dangerous. Macros are a feature of Microsoft Office applications like Excel. They allow for Visual Basic code to be embedded within documents so that it's easy to automate certain tasks. For the most part, macros are dead, barely anyone uses them anymore, but they haven't been deprecated because they're still being used in legacy infrastructure by organizations like banks, who have been using them since the turn of the millennium and see no reason to migrate away from them. This is a big problem for the rest of us because cybercriminals figured out that they could weaponize innocent-looking Excel documents by having them contain macros with malicious code. Open an Excel spreadsheet containing one of these macros and you're opening yourself up to ransomware, banking trojans, who knows. The typical Black Hat playbook has been to send out phishing emails with these malicious documents attached, using some kind of a law, like claiming the document as an invoice. But when you open the document, you'll receive a security warning, and this yellow bar here is the last layer of protection before a victim becomes pwned. A victim would have to manually click enable content for the malicious macro to run, but this doesn't make much of a difference as miscreants have become quite creative in how they encourage victims to click that button. IMO, this is one of the most pitiful security warnings I think Microsoft could have come up with. I'd even argue basic security warnings like this are kind of useless nowadays, simply because we're so accustomed to them, they almost feel like disclaimers at this point. It's like you receive a work email from another company, security warning, the email originated from outside your organization. Open an application you downloaded from the internet, warning, you downloaded this from the internet, are you sure you want to open it? Warnings like this have become so ubiquitous that many of us just ignore them. Though of course, the technically literate like you and I, we understand you don't want to press this button. But all it takes is Karen in accounting to not quite catch on for the whole company to become ransomed for millions of dollars. That is, until today. After 2 whole decades of shenanigans, Microsoft has finally awoken to the scourge of the malicious macro and is implementing some meaningful changes to help stamp out this curse until malicious macros exist as nothing more than a crusty old Wikipedia page. Microsoft has announced that in the coming months, macros will be disabled by default in all documents downloaded from the internet. If a document carries a mark of the web, which is an invisible attribute automatically applied to things downloaded from the internet, then you'll be met with a new security warning, which looks a lot scarier. But crucially, there's no enable content button, but rather a link to an article which tells you someone's probably trying to hack you. However, you can bypass the block by right-clicking the file, going into Properties, and checking the Unblock attribute in the Security section. It'll be interesting to see if bad actors still utilize macros even after this change, trying to prompt victims to manually check this box. I'm almost kind of surprised Microsoft haven't made this section here a bit scarier, a big warning symbol perhaps, maybe even a skull and crossbones. But in either case, this is really great news. However, on the other hand, Microsoft's attempt to move macros to the metaphorical recycle bin is going to take some time. Many organizations will be slow in updating, and some just won't. So you can expect the malicious macro to be a familiar foe on this channel for some time to come. This video was made possible by Altium Designer, the world's #1 PCB design software. 35 years of innovation and development has gone into this bit of kit, and it really shows. Nothing else I've used comes close to the sheer breadth and depth of features. If you dabble in PCB design at all, you have to give this a go. The routing engine, even just in of itself, is sublime. Grab your free trial via the link in the video description. Thanks for watching, and you know what to do. Fondle that notification bell and follow me on the Instagrams for behind the scenes content, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.